What is up, guys? It is Jake from Team Insanity here. I'm going to be bringing you another review. This one's over pads, so it's going to be a little bit shorter. Hopefully I can breeze through it. This is over the Exalt Freeflow, or the Freeflex, I'm sorry, the Exalt Freeflex pads. I have the elbow pads and the knee pads. I bought the whole thing because why not? Now, I'm going to try to say this as honest as possible. I'm going to try to keep this review as real as possible. And I'm going to try to not compare it to some of the other stuff that I like. I'm going to be honest, there's one pads that I really like that I'm going to try to not talk about until the very end of the video. I've owned basically every set of pads out there. Not all of them, but a pretty good amount. Okay, the Empire pads. I'm not a fan of them because the reason why is that when you play the snake as much as I do, your pads really do take a beating, okay? Or just not even snake, just sliding as much as I do. The knee pads, not as much, but more so the elbow pads. The elbow pads, I rip through elbow pads like nobody's fucking business, okay? I rip elbow pads. And that was the thing. The Empire elbow pads, I went right through those suckers in probably 4 or 5 months. Probably more so 4 months. I ripped those to shred. The whole soft, basically on my right hand, the whole soft, the padding, like the half glove, I just shredded that after like month 2. And all I basically did is I still have like a little bit of it on there. I really just need to cut it off. And the other one, it ripped near the back. So I mean, whatever. Like I said, I am brutal on pads because I do so much sliding. So the Exalt pads, so far I really like them just because of how they fit, just how damn comfy these stupid things are. And I mean, that's one reason why I like my Exalt Thrashers. You guys know that I love the Exalt Thrashers and I praise them. I mean, they're not the lightest pants on the market, but I gotta say they're damn near one of the comfiest pants I've ever put on in my entire life. They're like wearing sweatpants. I mean, I'm not even joking. They're probably one of the most comfiest pants that I've ever worn. And I have Vulcan pants, or proto pants, I should say. I've tried a lot of pants on, and just those stupid pants, I can't get over how freaking comfy those stupid things are. So that's sort of that. But and so I'm very impressed with what Exalt puts out, and they put out a lot of really cool products. Their original pads, their first pads, they kind of looked funky. They bunched up weird along the crease of your elbow. So I didn't really buy them, and I was using other pads at the time, like the Empire pads, the HK pads, the GI pads. I ripped through a pair of GI pads. I think John from the PB Fit did too. I didn't even have those pads I wore them for probably, I would say like 7 times, maybe 7 times, and they started to come apart at some of the seams, and I was like, fuck that, and I sold them. So I had the GI pads. Maybe I'll go back and try them again. Maybe I got a bad batch, but again, GI owns Empire, and the Empire pads were, anyways. So overall, these pads, I have to say, are super comfy. They have like a moisture wicking on them, and what's kind of weird is I'm going to talk about this little back part. I'm going to try to say this as non-cocky as possible. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't know, if you guys own these pads, let me know in the comment section, because I don't know if I'm the only one. I'm the only one on Insanity that owns these. I don't, like I said, I'm going to say this in the least cocky way. I don't know if I have bigger biceps than what a size medium is, like a size medium guy is supposed to have. I mean, I do go to the gym, but I'm not some huge fucking monster over here. That's to say the least. And it hugs the biceps not uncomfortably. I mean, it's definitely not uncomfortable, but when I take them off, it leaves such a tight, really big ring on me that it hugged it. And then near the end of the day, like if I play like a long tournament or a big game, okay, so like when I go for a tournament, I put the pads on at like 8 a.m. and I take them off at like 5 or 6. By like 3 or 4, they're like killing me because they're rubbing the wrong way, and they kind of feel, I mean, that's a long time, even at a big game. I wore them for the red, white, and blue in the Alien Invasion big game. I had them on from literally probably 7 in the morning until 5 or 6 at night. And near those last couple hours, it just rubbed weird, and it felt like it was cutting into me after a very, very long time. Not after a short period of time. I mean, I could probably go easy 6, 7 hours without having any problems. But about on that hour 7 to hour 8, 9, 10, that is when I started to experience problems. When I took them off, then I was just like, okay, yeah, now I have this big red ring around my bicep. When I put them back on, it's almost impossible to put them back on if you take them off in the same day and or the next day. For me, okay, because I would have a big red ring. When I played at World Cup, again, we were always the first fucking game of the day when we played World Cup. So I would slide these on at the very beginning of the day at 6, 7 a.m. when we got to the field, and I would have them on all the way until 3, 4 in the afternoon. And then when I would slide them off, and it'd feel great. It feels like you're taking off your pads. But then when I went to go put them on the next day, that spot was so tender that it was around that it almost was just like, yeah, I'm gonna wear my other pads. It's almost like if you like snap your spot, like if you snap your arm with a rubber band a couple times, and then you just start like just slapping it with your hand, it's really sensitive and feels like you just don't want to do it kind of thing. That is the only issue. And like I said, I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. I'm not saying I'm some huge monster over here. Granted, for a day of rec ball, that's not going to be a big deal. If you're out there playing rec ball and you go out there and play 6, 7 hours, not a big deal. Tournaments or 3, 4 day long events, for me, that was my only thing. Granted, I do have probably 5 sets of arm pads downstairs in my basement that are just sitting there collecting dust that I use and I swap out. That is when I would swap to those other pads. Overall, I mean, they're so comfy, and I mean, I get so good. I've got bounces on them. I mean, the elbow pads alone, I mean, they're so nice. I mean, Exalt, you make such comfy shit. I mean, it's so like, it feels so good. It's so nice to wear them. So, I mean, the elbow pads, I'm super, super impressed with. I have to say, it's like the comfiest pads I've ever put on. The knee pads, again, them knee pads, they have that little Exalt strap on it, so it really hugs you really, really well, but not in an uncomfortable position. I do have chicken legs, so I can't really comment on that. But they fit really, really well, and I could wear these for days and days and days on end. And they're so comfy, and they don't really bunch up in a weird way like some of the other pads. I mean, all pads bunch up. They bunch up, but they bunch up a lot less than some of the other pads. So, even the knee pads, I mean, they're so awesome. They protect you really, really well. You can crawl around on rocks. You can crawl around on that kind of stuff, and they are very, very nice. Overall, I'm very, very impressed with the Exalt pads. Now, what I'm getting into is the only other pads that the pads that I love the most are the dye pads. I said I'd wait until the very end to say it. The reason why I love the dye pads is not just because I love dye. And like I said, I've owned a lot of pads. I've owned every HK pad. I've owned basically a lot of the Empire pads. I have old Smart Part pads, the GI pads. Like I said, I tried on the Virtue Tampa Bay Damage, our pads, MacDev, whatever, and they were kind of all right. So like I said, I've owned a lot of pads, and like I said, I ripped through a lot of them. My HK pads, I like to wear when I'm reffing because they're bright colored. They're yeah, so those are really, really nice. But again, like even when I was reffing, I just started ripping through them, and especially when I'd go play with them in the snake, and I'd use them for when I'm, being a photographer, they just didn't last, okay? I've had my dye knee pads since 2000, and I want to say 11 or 10. It's been that long, and I can still wear them and they're not ripped. Okay, my dye knee pads. I had dye elbow pads. I bought like my first set of elbow pads in like 2000 and 12, and I had them for maybe like a year, and they never ripped, okay? They never ripped, and they were in basically pretty fucking amazing condition. And someone offered me like stupid money for it, like 50, 60 bucks or something. And I was like, hell yeah, for year-old pads, and I sold them. And then I started using, and that's when I started experimenting with a lot of other pads, the Empire, all that stuff. And then I went back and bought a used pair of dye elbow pads, and I still have them, and they're still in fantastic condition, and they're not ripped. So, are the Exalt pads the strongest pads that I've ever had? Only time will tell. Are these gonna last, 7, 8 years like my dye pads? Only time will tell. Okay, I can't tell you that. Okay, are they gonna be my favorite pads in the long run? I don't know. I started to see, like I said, I ripped through my pads really, really easy. One of them, I did actually start to see a little bit of the separation. Right on this one, I started to see separation on a portion. Maybe I was seeing things. I may have been drinking alcohol at the time, but I'm pretty sure I saw some separation on one of the pads. But over here, yeah, the seam is that's what it is. The seams are coming apart right here. I can get a close-up of it, and this piece is coming off, which this mesh is going to start to come off here pretty soon. So, like I said, only time will tell, because I've owned a lot of pads, and the pads that I've had the longest are the dye pads. Not because because they're so comfy and that they fit well on me, because I would say these are probably comfier, if not as comfy. It's just I've had them for so long and I haven't had any rips or tears or anything like that. So overall, the Exalt pads are pretty fucking fantastic. I'm really, really impressed with what they're putting out, and they're a great paintball company. But like I said, only time will tell how much I'm gonna like these, okay? Because if these rip in the next month or two, I've had them for probably 7, 8 months. To me, that's a decent lifespan, but it's not the longest lifespan I've had. It definitely beats Empire and GI. My HK ones, that's about what I was getting out on my HK pads, was about like 8 months. So overall, that's not that bad of a lifespan, but not compared to the dye pads that I've owned. And I don't know what dye makes their pads out of. It's like fucking steel reinforced or something, but I can't rip those even if I try. So that's sort of where I'm going to leave the review. If you guys are thinking about buying them, buy them. I do approve. I'm very, very impressed. I love them. The only issue is that, like I said, overall they're super comfy, and this little cusp, I don't feel it throughout the entire day, and probably until I have it on for 8, 9 hours is when it starts to rub me just a little bit the wrong way. And when I go to put it on the second day, if I still have that big ring, it's just kind of tender. Tender is, I guess, the word I'm looking for. It's just kind of like, yeah, I think I'll skip out for a couple hours and let it, it's just kind of tender. And like I said, you guys have seen me. I don't have like freakishly large biceps, but it's definitely something to think about. So yeah, buy them. Exalt makes some awesome stuff. Good job, Exalt. Hopefully maybe I can do an update video on how fast these rip. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm very, very impressed. I hope you guys have a good one, and buy yourself some paintball pads if you don't have them already. Great for bounces, and it protects you. You can't play if you're injured. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.